What happens when a little girl handing out flowers is taken by a cop who never calls her father? When the truth finally comes out, the entire courtroom falls silent. It was the kind of spring morning that made folks linger outside a little longer. Soft breeze, clear skies, and the smell of blooming azaleas floating through the air. In front of Meadow Ridge Elementary, 8-year-old Aisha Walker stood proudly on the corner, gripping a bundle of tulips so tightly you'd think she was carrying treasure. This wasn't part of some school program. This was all her. She wanted to give every teacher a flower, just to say thank you. No special day, no big event, just kindness in its purest form. That's who Aisha was. Bright, big-hearted, the kind of little girl who makes strangers smile and parents tear up. Her father, Marcus Walker, stood a few feet away letting her shine. A respected history teacher, community volunteer, and single father, Marcus had been invited to speak at the school's spring assembly. But let's be honest, Aisha had already stolen the spotlight. "Good morning, Mr. Wilkins," she chirped, handing a tulip to the vice principal. He chuckled, touched. "Well, thank you, young lady." Nearby parents smiled. Teachers clapped. A few folks pulled out their phones, snapping photos like she was royalty. Then the patrol car showed up, black and white cruiser, engine humming low. It rolled up slow, like suspicion on 4 wheels. Out stepped a white officer, mid-40s, square jaw, dark shades, posture stiff like he practiced in a mirror. He didn't look around, didn't greet anyone. His eyes went straight to Aisha. Something shifted. You could feel it. The joy in the air thinned. He walked toward her like he already knew something was wrong. "Where are your parents?" he said, sharp and flat. Startled, Aisha hugged the flowers closer to her chest. "My daddy's right there. You out here alone?" he cut in. "You run off or something?" She shook her head. "No, I'm just—" But it didn't matter. He grabbed her wrist, firm, cold. "We'll figure this out at the station." Nobody stopped him. Not the bystanders. Not the staff. Not the ones who just a minute ago were smiling at her like she was a blessing. All that warmth? Gone. Just silence now. The officer didn't check with the school. Didn't ask a single adult. Just opened the back door of his cruiser and put her inside. And drove off. For 4 long hours, that little girl sat in the back seat. No food, no water, no clue where they were going. The officer never said her name, never asked if she was okay. His body cam turned off, radio on full volume. He laughed at something on the air. Aisha didn't laugh. She sat quiet, trying not to cry, clutching her flowers like they were the only thing holding her together. Eventually, the trees got thicker, roads got smaller, cities disappeared. Then, the car slowed, pulled off onto a dusty shoulder lined with forest. The officer got out, opened the door. Out. Aisha stared at him, unsure, scared. He didn't blink. Out, and don't bother trying to come back. She stepped out. He got back in. And he left her, just like that. 8 years old, left on the side of a rural road, surrounded by trees and silence. No GPS, no food, no way home. Just her tiny backpack, just those wilted tulips, and the weight of a world that had just told her, "You don't belong." The moment Marcus Walker realized Aisha was gone, everything else faded into noise. His heart dropped straight through his chest. 1 minute he was standing on stage, waiting to be introduced for his speech. Proud father, respected teacher, pillar of the neighborhood. The next, he was tearing through the school building like a man chasing air. He called her name in every hallway, checked classrooms, bathrooms, closets. When the front office said she hadn't signed in, his stomach twisted so tight it hurt to breathe. Then Mrs. Thomas, the school administrator, stepped aside with a nervous glance and said, I think I saw a patrol car leave about an hour ago. Aisha might have been in it. I assumed—" She didn't finish the sentence. Didn't need to. Marcus was out the door in seconds. At the police station, he hit the desk like a brick. "My name is Marcus Walker. My daughter, 8 years old, was taken by one of your officers outside Meadow Ridge Elementary. Her name is Aisha. I want to know where she is right now." The woman behind the glass didn't blink. "We don't have any reports of a child being taken in." Marcus leaned forward, voice trembling between fury and fear. "Then check again." She typed slowly, looked back up. No records. Maybe she walked off. Kids do that sometimes. Marcus nearly lost it. She didn't walk off. She was taken. You have vehicles, cameras, dispatch logs. Run them. Do your job. Her response, a practiced phrase, said flat, "We'll look into it. In the meantime, please remain calm and stop disrupting the lobby." By nightfall, the streets were lit up with flyers. Friends, neighbors, church members, even his own students were out knocking on doors, stopping at gas stations, circling highways. Black folks mobilized like they always do when the system shrugs. Teachers shared Aisha's picture online. Volunteers searched every exit ramp. Retirees in lawn chairs took up watch on their porches. It didn't matter how late it got, they kept going. Because when a black child goes missing, time don't just matter, it bleeds. On the second day, hope walked back into the story. A long-haul truck driver, a black woman named Carla, called in from a dusty stretch of highway 200 miles out. She'd spotted a little girl walking along the shoulder, alone, sweaty, shoes scuffed. "She told me her name's Aisha," Carla said. "She said a police officer left her there." That little girl had walked, wandered, and waited. Through heat, through fear, through silence, until someone finally saw her. Carla took her straight to a nearby precinct. This time, the officer on duty listened. He reviewed the dash cam footage from traffic stops in the area and caught sight of a patrol car that shouldn't have been there. Atlanta plates. No reason to be that far out. When Aisha spoke, her voice was quiet but steady. "A police officer took me. He didn't tell me where. He didn't want my daddy to know." Marcus was on the first flight out. Didn't pack. Didn't pause. He landed, ran through the airport like his legs were trying to outpace his rage. When he saw her, his little girl, sitting at the edge of a bench, clutching one lonely tulip stem, he dropped to his knees and held her like he was trying to put his broken heart back together with his own hands. She looked up and whispered, "I waited, Daddy." And that turned something inside him cold. But the nightmare wasn't done. When Marcus asked who the officer was, the one who took her, drove her, left her, he hit a wall. No name in the system. No arrest report. No incident file. The body camera? Disabled. The dash cam? Under review. His partner? Out sick. The department had nothing, or so they claimed. Marcus knew what that meant. It wasn't a glitch. It wasn't bad paperwork. It was a cover-up. So he went public. He told everyone who'd listen. Radio shows, community blogs, local news, national anchors. He sat in front of cameras, holding up his daughter's photo, not for sympathy, but for accountability. He didn't hold back. This wasn't a mistake. This was erasure. This was punishment dressed in uniform. The story caught fire. Fast. Activists picked it up. Celebrities reposted it. Church mothers prayed over it. Black Twitter ran with it. Aisha's face was everywhere. Under pressure, the state prosecutor finally announced a formal investigation. But that didn't mean justice. Not yet. Days passed, then weeks. No charges, no name. The department refused to speak. Attorneys for the unnamed officer called it a misunderstanding, said the officer feared for the child's safety. That's when Marcus decided enough was enough. He organized. Not quietly, not politely. He reached out to every parent in the county, especially the ones whose children had been stopped, profiled, or mishandled by the system. He asked them one question. What if it had been your child? And they showed up, 10,000 strong. Black, brown, white allies. Old heads and teens. Grandmothers pushing strollers. Veterans with service medals on their chests. They marched through the heart of Atlanta, banners high, voices united. Signs read, "She could have been mine. Flowers, not fear." Just a child. It was loud, it was peaceful, and it was unforgettable. Only then did the system flinch. Only then did doors start to crack open. A week after the march, they made it official. Roy McNamara, 12-year police veteran, was arrested. His record wasn't clean, not by a long shot. Complaints from black residents, incidents swept under the rug. Every time, a slap on the wrist and a quiet reassignment. But this time, he crossed a line even the system couldn't ignore. The courtroom was packed, press in the back, community in the seats, and at the front, Marcus and Aisha, side by side. The prosecution brought facts, not feelings. GPS data tracked McNamara's car 200 miles outside his patrol zone. Surveillance footage showed him taking Aisha by the wrist. Witnesses confirmed she was calmly giving flowers to staff, moments before being taken. Then Aisha took the stand. I'm 8 years old. Small voice, big truth. I just wanted to give flowers to my teachers, she said. He took me. I didn't know if I'd ever see my daddy again. She held the same dried tulip she'd saved in her backpack. The room went still. Even the judge had to look away. The defense tried to twist it. He thought she was lost. It was a misunderstanding. But the facts didn't lie, and neither did that child. In closing, the prosecutor said, he didn't just take her, he abandoned her. No food, no water, no phone. This was not an accident. This was intentional. This was attempted murder. The jury didn't need long. Guilty on every count. The courtroom erupted. Marcus held Aisha close. She didn't cry. She just whispered, "We're going home now." The verdict triggered something bigger. An internal probe exposed more than just one bad cop. Files reopened. Officers suspended. A captain quietly retired. Atlanta's police chief stepped down. In the streets, thousands marched again. This time with purpose. Marcus launched the Aisha Walker Foundation, fighting to protect children from systemic harm. He became a voice, a guide, a father not just to Aisha, but to a movement. And Aisha? She started piano lessons, wrote letters to other kids. If someone scares you, she wrote, don't stay quiet. You're not alone. One little girl, one act of kindness, one storm that forced a system to face itself. Justice was only the beginning.